and welcome to episode 64 of the GuildMag podcast. Yay! I am Miko, or Sandra, aka Miko, and today I'm being joined by Kora, the lovely Kora.
Hi everyone. I'm going to apologize now. My voice is a little odd. I've developed some sort of dry cough. I'm not even sick. I don't even understand this. It's not fair.
I know. There's a lot of dry coughing going around down here in Southern California as well. So I think maybe there's something going around.
The whole West Coast has a dry cough. It's just terrible.
Don't come to the Western U.S. We'll just infect you somehow.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not even sick. Like, there's no sniffles. I don't feel ill. My throat just sounds like a preteen boy. It's terrible. It's terrible.
It's all right. We'll get through it. So I hope you had a lovely Thanksgiving. I had a lovely Thanksgiving.
I did. I had a Friendsgiving. My family lives back in California, and we always have a small Thanksgiving nowadays, so it was just not worth the $300 to fly down there to visit them. But I got invited to a Friendsgiving, and there was way more food than we could eat. So at the end of the night, they sent the men out to go hunting for Tupperware, and then they came back, and so we're trying to pack food into Tupperware. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Yeah, everyone came over here, so we had a packed house, and yeah, it was crazy. But we had a lot of fun. It was good to catch up with family that live farther away, and just to see how everyone's doing, catch up on everyone's lives. Yeah, so it was good. And yes, we had an abundance of food. Our refrigerator is now packed to the gills, and it's like, I don't know how we're going to get rid of all of this stuff.
I think that's how you know you've done Turkey Day right, is when you have so much food that you don't need to cook for the next 2 weeks.
I guess. Yeah, that's probably right. It's just uber amounts of turkey and stuff. Anyways.
Turkey and macaroni and cheese and mashed potatoes and gravy, and then I made the cheesecake. So there's actually tons of cheesecake left over. So
yeah, we've got a ton of cheesecake and pumpkin pie and apple pie left over. So it's like, oh yay!
I know we've made everybody on the stream hungry.
I know. Sorry, guys. All right. So to kick off, we are going to be talking about A Crack in the Ice today. Episode 3 of The Living World. So I'm putting it out there right now. There's going to be tons of spoilers. So if you have not played through this episode, you may want to, I guess, come back to our YouTube channel when it's up, or after you played it, or go play it now while we're talking about it, and then you can join in. So that was the big news this week. The patch came in, and Living World episode is here, and we've also got a new fractal. Yep, the Nightmare Fractals. And have you played it yet?
I have not. I don't play Fractals too often because it would require me to be social and get a group of people and then go do the thing with them. And I'm so lazy that just seems like so much effort to me to make friends and go play with them. No.
I know.
Yeah, no, I have a few people that I could be like, hey, are we doing Fractals? And I've just been lazy. I did finally get my agony resistance up on my engineer, though, so there's really no excuse for me to not be doing more Fractals.
Right.
And I am excited that they put the Nightmare Fractal in, because that's Season 1 content that is the only way you can experience it. I really want them to bring Season 1 back.
Yeah. They had an AMA over on Reddit this week after the patch dropped, and there was a couple of threads where there were people asking about Season 1, or you can bring it back, can you bring it back? And I think it was Matthew Medina who came in and was like, we'd love to bring it back, but here's the reality. We'd have to fix a lot of things, change a lot of things to make it work with how the game is now. So maybe we'll get it back, or maybe we'll just get it back in fractal pieces, which would work.
It's better than nothing. I will give them that. It's better than nothing, so I'll take it. But I'm still of the, and this may be a terrible opinion, figure out how much it would cost ArenaNet, and like how much you'd have to charge like in the gem store for people to buy Season 1 to make it worth redoing, and I will pay for it if it's like I'm terrible. I would pay like full expansion price for it because I just want to be able to replay that content. So you want $35, like take my money.
Yeah.
I don't even have money. Just take the money. Yeah.
Yeah. And Tower of Nightmares was such a fun patch when it came in. And when we got that for, I think it was over 2 weeks that we could run around in there. I think it was actually a full month that we got in there because there were 2 releases that were involved with that. And it was just so much fun. And this was like, I think this was before Mega Server even. So we were still on like the world servers and just teaming up with people and rampaging through the tower and then getting that toxic hybrid. It was a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to jumping into that and checking that out because I haven't had a chance to check it out either because, Thanksgiving happened and we were doing things.
Getting ready for Thanksgiving, then having Thanksgiving, and now it's recovering from Thanksgiving.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm hoping to check that out this weekend. We also got a new legendary shield, Xuxa. Okay.
Oh my god.
Kora, tell me about it.
It's adorable. It's so cute. It's like a little. It's not like a little. It's like a big fish tank that you wear on your back, and it's got a baby Quaggan.
It's a Quaggan in a fishbowl.
It's a and you just run into battle with it. And we were talking about this on the Shadow of the Dragon podcast. I'm like, how badass is that? Like, you run into battle, and you're like, hey guys, I'm about to beat y'all with a baby strapped to my back. Like.
Water sloshing everywhere.
Baby Quaggan going woo, woo. I love it. I think it's great. I may have to try for that legendary. Will I ever get any legendaries? Probably not. Gord teases me because I've unlocked like 3 or 4 first tiers of the precursors.
Yes. I
just keep opening a new precursor tier because the collections are kind of fun to do, and they're this content, it's pretty easy. And then you get to the next tier, and it's where it's like, oh, yeah, this is going to require effort. I'm just going to go start a new
start a new one, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
but now, that one, yeah.
Yeah, now with the revamp on the legendary crafting system that they did, that they brought in with Eureka, this one should be a little bit more easily obtainable, I would think.
Yeah, well, since they revamp, I haven't actually looked at them. Is it still where you have to do like 500 of this mace and 600 of that mace? And
I don't think so. I haven't looked at Eureka. It's basically they've changed the way that the collections work so that you're unlocking recipes for the different precursors, and you're gathering. You can get the materials for them from the different maps. With the different map currency, so they've streamlined it basically and kind of taken some of the grindiness of collecting all of the mace heads and whatnot.
Okay, but that's only for the mace and now the shield. They didn't go back and
They didn't go back and redo all of the new legendaries that were in. So those still have their collections the way that they were first implemented.
Yeah, and I think some of them are cool, but like where it's the 500 of 10 different axes to get the precursor for Australarius, and that's not even to get the precursor; it's to get like the next step of the precursor.
Right.
That's a little much.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see if they'd ever go back and tweak. But I don't know that they would, because they still have to. They have to finish the Heart of Thorn precursors, and then they're going to start whatever legendaries. Or sorry, they have to finish the Heart of Thorn legendaries, and then they have to start the legendaries if they haven't already started them for the next expansion. I just don't know that, like going back and redoing Season 1, I don't know that they would want to go back and spend that time when they could be moving forward.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
So we'll see. But yeah, Xuxa is kind of cute. I like the waterfall footsteps that basically come along, or the water splashes, I should say, the footsteps. Yep.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I haven't seen it in game yet.
I haven't either.
But I'm excited. I think it looks really cool.
Yeah, and I know it came, I think you either love this shield or you think it's really, really silly. But,
it is silly.
It is silly. But we've got other silly legendaries, in the game.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the bow that shoots unicorns? Yeah.
I love that bow.
And that's where I think some people were like, no, legendary should be epic and, stay within lore and don't break my immersion.
Right.
And I think that's where people are like, oh my god, it's too silly, it's breaking the immersion of the game.
You can bash
And
people over the head with a disco ball. What are you talking about? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. So I can see some of that aspect of like, no, you want everything to be super serious.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, it's still kind of within lore. I mean, it's a baby Quaggan shooting unicorns. We don't have unicorns wandering around the fields of Ascalon. So,
No, this is
like,
true.
of the silly ones, like, this one is the most within lore. Like, I'm going with, we've rescued a baby Quaggan, and it's adoptive parents. That's why we
Mm-hmm.
keep it strapped to our back. We're rearing the Quaggan. So it's within lore. I'm happy with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It works. Yeah. So in the gem store, they've brought in a whole bunch of Quaggan-related items that are on sale, ending soon. So make sure you check those out. There's the Warrior Quaggan backpack set, the Aviator Quaggan mail carrier, Plush Quaggan backpack, the fuzzy hats, the Quaggan hats. Mini packs. So there's just a ton of like Quaggan related things, and they are on sale right now. So check them out in the gem store because those sales will be ending soon. Also in the gem store this week, we've got the new Crystalline Dragon Wings backpack glider combo for 700 gems.
I like the wings, the dragon wings. I have both set of dragon wings that they released as items that you could achieve in game during Dragon Bash.
Right. The shattered wings and the other ones, right?
Yeah, it was holographic and shatter.
Yeah.
I have both of them. One of them I was able to achieve. The other I couldn't before Dragon Bash was over. So I actually bought them from the trading post. I would imagine if they're out there to buy now, they're probably super, super expensive. But I got them when they were still actually affordable on Trading Post. And I love them. So I love seeing that they've done new Dragon Wings and that they double as gliders. So I wish my Dragon Bash ones did.
Yeah.
I wish they would bring Dragon Bash back, like as a yearly festival. I think that would be something fun.
Yeah.
And to have the ability to earn those wings again for people that weren't playing the game at the time or weren't able to earn them during the event, like that would be a cool thing.
Yeah.
To have more festivals during the year. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I missed Dragon Bash completely because I was actually traveling at the time, so I was following all of the news on Twitter and whatnot. But yeah, I missed Dragon Bash completely. So it would be neat to have a way to re-earn those.
Yeah.
But these crystalline dragon wings, they're pretty cool. They've got that pinky purple. That is the theme.
Well, these ones are Kralkatoric.
Yeah,
wings.
they're themed with that. So they're cool. They're cool. They're not and they're pretty well defined too. Like I know the shattered wings look shattered, and the holographic ones they also have that kind of definition to them. But yeah, so it'd be neat. I haven't seen anyone running around with these in game yet, but as I said, Thanksgiving happened, so I've been sporadically in and out of game. The Marjorie's, let's see, we've got a couple of outfits. Bram's Wolfblood outfit. Don't like it.
I can't even. I love Marjorie's outfit. I think it's really cool. Bram's is okay. I'll get on that in a second. I hate that they're outfits and not armor sets. Because season 2, the clothes that Bram and Jory and Marjorie and their clothes were released as armor sets that you could buy from the gem store. So I could mix and match the pieces. Yep. And ArenaNet is not doing armor sets anymore. Basically, they just do outfits. And as I've said before, it reminds me way too much of Black Desert Online, where everybody is just in the exact same outfits. And it's their store is just an outfit store, and they charge it's not as bad as Black Desert Online, because Black Desert Online charges something like $30 real dollars. Yeah. Like real world dollars for per outfit, and I think Guild Wars is closer to 10.
Yeah, 700 gems is somewhere between $5 and $10.
Yeah. So that's reasonable. But you know what? Here's the thing. I would have been willing to pay a little bit more for armor sets. Like if that's what they need. Like, okay, $700, 700 gems, which is between $5 and $10 real world dollars, does not even out to paying for the man hours to make it an armor set. And okay, well, what would make it more worth it? Are we, 800 gems? Is it 1,000 gems? Because I'll pay 1,000 gems for an armor set. But yeah, I was really, really disappointed to see that they're just doing outfits now.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know that they've come out and said that it takes more development time. And we really haven't seen new armor sets since the ones that came in with Heart of Thorns, if I'm not mistaken. We've got a glove skin, the glacial cold stone. I'm totally getting the name wrong. It's a throwback one to Guild Wars 1 that you can earn as an achievement through playing, I think, the season 3, episode 3 achievements. So you can earn that.
Yeah.
And they've got different little pieces that you can earn.
But not full
not
set.
a full set.
Yeah, I thought that was also weird how they are doing pieces. Like, they have the Toxic Mantle and glove skins that they did back in Season 2 and that they've re-released.
Yes.
And I think they're great. I love them because there's not enough Sylvari cultural armor out there. And these are, they're evil Sylvari, but it still works. But I kept thinking they were going to release, like, when are the pants coming? When's the chest piece and the helm? And it was like, no, they're just doing these two things. Yeah. And they've done that with the pirate ones, and they did that with the Lawless.
Yes.
Lawless had more pieces, though.
Yeah, I think it had, like, a helm as well. And maybe a shoulders.
It didn't, and it had shoes. I think it just didn't have the chest piece and the pants. And I'm like, if that's a better way for them to do armor sets, like releasing piece by piece and you could just buy the pieces, again, fine. But, like, give me that option to have my mix and match. I don't just want to wear outfits. And like I said, I really, really love Marjorie's shrouded outfit, but I don't know that I can support buying outfits anymore. At least not like when the game originally launched. It was like, I'm going to buy every outfit that comes out because that's cool. But still buying all the armor sets as well. And now I'm just like...
Yeah, now you feel like you've got to choose between...
Yeah, it's like outfit fatigue. And if there was a balance of armor coming in as well as outfits, gem store or game achievement, either way, if there was a balance, then I would be okay. But it's not. It really just is this heavy push on outfits and glider packs. And I'm just like, I'm burned out, I think is what it is. I'm burned out on them.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair critique. I know I will only pick up the outfits that I like. I'm all for supporting the studio. But at the same time, it's like I'm not made of money. So I only pick up what I like. And the Wolfblood outfit is, I found the kind of shieldy mask, very hide the face thing really interesting. Just because he has it on while you're interacting with him in the story step, and it makes him feel more distanced, which we can talk about in a little while.
I found the same thing.
Okay.
There was somebody had made a joke though about his mask. And they like it was like a Batman joke because it looks like a Batman mask. So it's like, I'm the bra man.
Right. I think I saw that on Twitter.
So I laughed at that. My problem with the outfit overall is it, to me, didn't feel like it was Norn clothes. Like if you look at the 3 tiers of the Norn cultural armor, and then you look at Bram's past armor set that they released, and then you look at this outfit, it feels very human. And a big part of that, I think, for me, is that it's just another trench coat. It doesn't have a lot that makes it feel Norn. And I think that was a
miss.
I think they just took the regular trench coat skin that they've been building all the medium armor off of, and just built an outfit on top of that, and then tried to throw on some fur to make it feel like Norn.
Right.
And it just, slightly misses the mark of what Norn armor feels like, or should feel like.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was surprised by the lack of fur.
Yeah.
Or
fur
the limited amount
belts,
of fur. Yeah.
Like Braum's previous outfit had these cool belts that were like lots of belts, and they weren't just, it wasn't just like a straight leather belt. Like they had lots of like lines and curves and design in the belt, and then they ended with metal work.
Yeah.
And then there was fur around the waist and whatnot, and
that felt very Norny.
Yeah, and the top, same thing. Like it had straps and danglies and fur and then you get to this, and it's just
different. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, it's just a very clean.
It is a very clean look.
Trench coat.
Yeah.
So I just wasn't as thrilled with it. I thought Marjorie's was spot on, but I thought Bram's missed the mark.
Yeah. Well, if you guys would like to check these out, they are both available in the gem store for 700 gems. You can decide for yourself. As we mentioned, there are a couple of throwback toxic mantle and glove skins, and also the toxic dye kit are back. Those are season 1 things, and they are back in honor of the new Nightmare Fractal. And they've got a slew of packs that are on sale right now. The Tinker's package, which includes a heroic booster, upgrade extractor, shared inventory slot, basic cloth rack, and an additional crafting license. And that's 1,850 gems, and that's on sale. That's the sale price. They've also got the bag slot value pack, the Black Lion intro pack, and then the one that I think is cool and is ending like in a couple of, in about 19, 18 hours or so from now, is the Jumbotron pack for 2,600 gems. That includes the Jobotron backpack, the Glidertron wings, and then the 3 infinite harvesting tools, the Gatherertron tools. So those are also available. And then there's a Heroes die pack and a Home Instance node pack that are also ending very soon. So check out the gem store, and you can see what you can pick up if you like. And then to a little bit of housekeeping for on the GuildMag side of things, we released issue 17, which is our homage to Elona. And if you haven't seen it, you can check it out on our website. And I'm getting the link right now and just popping that into GuildMag's chat. We got a lot of really good feedback on it from the Reddit community, which was nice to see that everyone was really appreciative of just seeing Elona again and how well the mag was put together. So thank you for that. If you have not seen it and want to learn a little bit more about what Elona has had to offer in the original game, check that out. And then our 2016 annual is going on pre-orders next week. So that should be out on Monday, and we'll be putting out things on our website and our social media, so keep track of that. Yeah, that should be good. We've got a packed annual magazine this year. We've been really hard at work. Okay, so let's just jump into our main discussion topic for the last 35 or so minutes of our show time. I know. We're just going to talk about cracking the ice, and we're going to take it step by step, basically, and just talk about what we thought about the story, what we found, etc. So the story starts out, we get a message, and we are beckoned back to go see precocious little Aurene. And she appears to us as a vision, like in a live little holographic form. Yeah.
I think that's cool.
Yeah. I actually missed seeing her when she first appeared. My character started talking because I had my my mail window open, my in-game mail window open, or something was open. And all of a sudden my character's talking, and I'm like, wait, what? The story already started. What's going on? So yeah, but that was really cute. I thought that was neat that Aurene is trying to still reach out to us.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's it's interesting that she's displaying so much of her mother's abilities. Because this is Glint's daughter, and Glint was a prophet. And she could communicate telepathically with heroes. And so we see Aurene being able to do the same and having visions and sending us warnings of, the future. And even when she was an egg, saying like, hey, I need help. There's destroyers coming, and calling us to her.
Yeah.
So, yeah, having her reach out and be playful and like, I've missed you. Please come see me.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it's just really, really cute. And so that story step took us back into Arc Basin, into the egg area, the egg chamber, and we got to train Aurene in compassion, courage, and teamwork. And it's not the most exciting gameplay stuff, but it's very cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel silly because it took me a little while on the one where you have to save Vigil members.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't realize I could also walk over there and save them.
Yeah.
And that, like, the Mordrim would follow me and then, like, disappear at the shield.
Yeah.
So I kept getting overwhelmed by Mordrim and being like, dang it, Aurene, like, you're taking too long to save the people. And then, like, I think there was, like, one person left. And I'm like, why isn't Aurene coming to get this one person? And I started walking and they followed me. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I probably could have been done, like, 10 minutes sooner.
Yeah. Yeah, I did it. I streamed this for GuildMag, and it was just funny because I had a couple of our writers were in the call at the same time. We were in our party together, and they're like, "Okay, we'll take care of the Mordrim. You just get those Vigil over there." And I was like, "Oh, okay, no problem." So off we went, to get the Vigil over to the little bubble. But yeah, that was. Yeah, it was a little slow because Aurene, had to kind of golem along to get her things, but it was a neat way to introduce how that character is continuing to interact with us, I thought.
Yeah. No, I like it.
Yeah, very cute. And then we find out at the end of that after we fought the big boss, because we've got to put all of these things that we learned into action, and we find out from Timey that she needs more samples. Because of she wants samples now of Jormag's minions. So that takes us out to Holbrack, which is, I always like to return to Holbrack. I love the Norn. And we're trying to find out information on Jormag's minions, and have they been acting funny? Has anyone noticed anything? And everyone's like, yeah, we heard rumors about some weird thing going up far north, but we're not going up there. It's too cold.
Yeah. It's too cold, it's too dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's sort of no man's land up there. But of course, we go up there.
Of course, because we just are always ready to charge in blindly. But we do get some information that Bram's been up there, and Rox and Garm. So off we go. Off we trot to Frostgorge Sound to get to the portal. We kept getting distracted. I don't know about you. On the way to the portal to Bitterfrost Frontier, there's just all of we had several different meta events from Frostgorge Sound that were up. So we were like, oh, well, we've got to go through them to get to that. So, yeah, I guess we'll just kill things.
Oh, no, I stayed on target. I was like, I don't want to deal with any of these things. So I would run to the next, where like the little green star would be, and then it moved to the next location. I was like, do I have a waypoint near there? Waypoint. Yeah. And then, so I made it across pretty distraction free.
Oh, you're awesome. Yeah, I went in on my character that does not have map completion, or one of my many characters that doesn't have map completion. So I was like, oh, I don't have any waypoints up there. Well, we're going to run. So, yeah, I was unlocking things as we went, but it worked. And we get to go interact with this Kodan guard, who basically says, well, it's really dangerous up there. I don't think you really want to go, but you can try and prove yourself. And she gives us a magical torch that we are able to use to take down the icy barrier that blocks the portal. How did this go for you?
Once I went through the portal?
Well, before, because when I did it, it was like there were so many people around anyway, because it was, launch day, that the barrier I didn't even see the barrier. It was just basically dialogue that just kind of popped up and was like, oh, you can now go through. And I'm like, wait, what just happened?
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh. That's weird. No, when I got there was a barrier. There was other people there, but there was definitely a barrier, and I got the torch, and I got to shatter this big icy wall, and then I could go through.
Cool. Well, I'm going to have to go check that out, because it sounded like it was fun. I had people going, yeah, I mean, this is what was supposed to happen. And I'm like, but I didn't see it. I just walked through, and I was in Bitterfrost Frontier, and I was like, oh, hi, new map, okay.
Yeah, I wonder if that's something that they patched. Like, they realized every player should have, like, it should be instanced until you've shattered it.
Yeah.
And maybe it wasn't instanced before.
Yeah. And I know that they have been patching things to fix different little mechanic things, so...
Yeah, and a big shout out, thank you to the devs who are working this week to keep the game running and patching as things are coming up, because they would, I'm sure, rather be with their families as well. And they're not. They didn't take vacation. They're because they want to keep the game running for us. So that's a huge thank you to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. So when we go through into Bitterfrost Frontier. It's basically just an area full of ice and snow, in the immediate area that we come into. And we start learning about the Codin torch mechanic and what it can do.
It can annoy Kora, that's what it can do. I think that's its primary skill.
What happened?
Okay, so it's like, in some ways, the pack crowbars in Verdict Brink. You use the torch to go around, and because there's chests, just like there was pack supplies, and you use the torch to get rid of the ice that's on the chest, and then you can open the chest and get the items. Yep. However, unlike the packed crowbars, which were an item that you could that built up, so you could have like 140 pack crowbars in your inventory taking up a slot. This is an item that you hold, and you can drop it. And you have to when you're getting attacked, which is all the time.
Yes.
You have to go to the thing, you get a torch, and then you run over and like, oh, there's a chest. Oh, but wait, I'm suddenly getting attacked. And I don't have any skills on this thing, so I have to drop it, fight the things, but everybody else is over here and they've dropped their torches, and now I can't find my torch, and somebody else has picked up my torch, which supposedly they fixed.
Yeah.
But for me, it wasn't fixed yet, so somebody else would pick up my torch and run away, and then I'd see a torch and go, well, I'll take that torch, and couldn't. I couldn't pick up torches, or I'd see like a lone torch out in the middle of nowhere, and I'd run over to pick it up, and I can't pick it up.
Right.
So they just super annoy me. I'd rather have something taking up an item slot in my inventory, which I'm sure tons of people do not want. They would complain about, which is why they got rid of it for this thing. Yeah, but just
it's okay. Get it out. Get it out of your system.
It just super annoyed me. So I was like, you know what? I don't want those chests that bad.
Well, I'm like a scrit. I see chests and I'm like, ooh, loot, free. Okay, let me go there. And my inventory was just getting so full during the stream because I kept opening these things. But what I appreciated was that it's not an inventory slot that takes up space. And it kind of works like the Silver Waste shovels did, in that once you uncover a loot box, it's other players in your immediate area can also see it and can then go and loot it. But they don't need a key for it. You just press F. Yeah. So that was a neat little change, I thought, to how those chests work. But yeah, the thing about putting it down because you don't have skills on it. Now I remember I hovered over the skills, and it said something about you could open up the skills by talking to, I don't remember which NPC. You can purchase skills. But I have not gotten that far.
Neither have I.
So
maybe like the idea is that you unlock those skills, and then you don't have to drop your torch. You can just run around and fight with it, which makes sense. Like getting to that point, that's where I was just feeling like this isn't worth it. I don't. Yes, I want loot, but I don't want it that badly that I'm getting so frustrated because I can't find my torch, and the only place I know I can get a torch is from the big fire. Was it but they're not always offering torches because that's part of the map events, is that you have to defend them and defeat the things, and then they'll, the torches will come back. So if it's during one of those periods, I can't get a torch.
Yeah.
Again, I'm like, you know what? Whatever. Just let me go finish what I'm doing for the story or whatever other event that is up that is annoying me far less than these stupid torches.
Yeah, and one of the things that I noticed was that the map events, the cycle on them was pretty quick. So there wasn't, at least when I played it, there wasn't a lot of downtime for the torches being out, which was helpful.
Yeah, that was
to collect loot.
That was a big saving grace. If it had been a long recovery time, I think it definitely would have annoyed more people. So
yeah. So as we get out there, we're fighting Svanir and other creatures that are out there. When we finally talk to the Kodan and Quaggan leader, they send us down to go talk to a Quaggan shaman and says, well, if you want to survive the cold here, because it's really cold here, you really shouldn't go here.
Yeah.
Make sure you go and talk to the shaman. The shaman says, yeah, you might want to go and check out the Svanir. They've got something that'll help. And okay, so off we go. And then we get to dress up as Svanir, which I found a bit hilarious, because I know that when we talked about our, we had our big lore episode with you, I think it was last episode, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about, the Svanir and how are they going to respond to women being around or trying to think. So we got to infiltrate and play as male Svanir.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was funny seeing my tiny little female human and suddenly I'm this big blue male Norn. Yeah. It was interesting, but I still have my voice.
Yes, that was the most funniest part, I thought, because I was playing on a human as well, and she's just all trying to disguise her voice and doing a terrible job at it.
Yeah.
And yet the Svanir don't catch on. Yeah.
Want elixir. Yeah. Want drink. Go get elixir now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was basically what they were doing, and it was funny. I liked it.
Yeah, that was humorous. Yeah, I liked those touches of humor in the story, but it was just really funny. I'll be interested to see how it plays through on other races and other genders, just because.
Yeah, I would assume it's going to be something similar. Because they're all like, if you're a Char, you still have to disguise yourself as a Svanir. But I find the idea of like a Sura. Like, because what you're doing is you're collecting armor pieces from the Svanir, and then you're putting on armor. But like, it's got to be with the idea of some sort of enchantment, because there's no way. I mean,
and Asura would pass for a Svanir, yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way my character could, but like, and Asura even less so, because you'd fill up one of their boots.
Exactly. Yeah, I know that one of the people I was playing with, he was on a Char, and I think he also just got turned into just a male Norn as well. So it's interesting that they brought that whole disguising idea back, which they had done in Rising Flames with the Mersat armor. But yeah, that it has a sort of enchantment to it, which they didn't actually really even talk about. They just kind of like, well, there you go, you're now a male Norn. Go get your stuff.
Yeah, you have to have that assumption of, like, clearly we've put some sort of enchantment. Otherwise, this just is not going to work.
Right. Yeah. So that was fun.
Yeah.
Going up there. And then we go and gather the Elixir Ingredients, because we've got this recipe now from the Norn guy. And we have to go and kill things and gather. We've got to get the frostbitten suet, winter berries, and griffin eggshells.
Yep.
Which wasn't too bad, because there were a lot of little winterberry nodes around, and my little bar was just ticking up quite quickly. So I'm thinking that I may have gotten some as loot, as drops from killing enemies.
Yeah, the winterberries went fast, and if you were running around trying to get the winterberries, then you were getting the frostbitten suet, whatever. You were getting that because you're killing things.
Right.
And the griffin eggshells you got during the, what was it? There was a heart.
The heart, during the heart that's up there.
And then the Firestone was the one that led me to have a big rant on Twitter.
So this Firestone, it's tied in with the Grawl that are up there, and they are worshipping an old Norn statue as their goddess.
Jorah!
Name. Yeah, it's Jorah from Guild Wars 1, but they're calling her Choco Kuka, which I just found funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've got to get fire sticks, chicken feathers, and shiny ice for them in order for them to trust you and give you this firestone. And Kora...
Yeah, because you have to build little, shrines to their goddess to earn their favor. And the chicken feathers is the one where I was like, this is not okay.
Yeah, you got to kick the chickens, which gives you the title of chicken chaser or something like that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it's a Easter egg for the game Fable. Mm-hmm. You go over, and within Guild Wars too, you go over and the little action kick comes up and you select it and you kick the chicken and it makes this horrible sound as it cries out in pain and goes flying through the air. And all I can think of is, like, my commander is a good person. Like, we're supposed to be, helping Tyria, and, like, I'm here abusing animals to just get a chicken feather. Like, I could just pluck a feather off the chicken if I really need to get it off the chicken. But I had pet chickens growing up, and they shed feathers all over the place.
All the time, yes.
So why am I not just picking up feathers off the ground? And in Fable, the mechanic worked, and I didn't find it that offensive, because in Fable the whole point of the game was you could be a good person or a bad person, so you could choose to kick a chicken or not kick a chicken, and that helps define who you are within the world. In Guild Wars, this isn't a thing of, like, we get to choose the dark side or the light side. Like, we are good. That's how the game is designed. We are a good person, and I just am like, a good person would not run around and kicking chickens. And I found it more offensive than, like, if it had just been, like, an ambient kill action. Because when you, like, ambiently kill or not ambient, when you kill an ambient bunny,
creature,
it doesn't cry out in pain and go flying through the air, and there's, like, it just is like, oh, it's just gone.
Right.
And, like, you can just be like, okay, well, whatever, I harvested it for me. And this was very clearly, like, the chicken crying out in pain and going flying through the air, and I'm just like, it's probably got broken bones now. Yeah. And I'm empathizing with a virtual chicken. And I get that, but, like, for me, it was so startling and out of character for the game that it was upsetting to me, and the fact that I don't have a choice. There's not another option for me to go over and, like, well, there's a chicken cage and I'm just going to gather feathers from the chicken cage instead of this. The game is forcing me to do this action that I find abhorrent. So I don't know that I will replay this chapter, which is upsetting, because then it just means, like, well, none of my other characters are ever going to advance past this point. But I really, really do not like this game mechanic. Like, really, really do not like it.
Yeah, and when I was doing it, I had people around me saying, and people in chat were saying, well, if you just kick it once, you'll get a feather to drop off the first kick. And I'm like, well, that's not happening, so I'm having to re-kick this chicken a bunch of times, enough so that I finally got the title even, without even trying, But yeah, I finally got my 4 feathers. Yeah. And I found it interesting, well, not interesting, but just kind of weird, because, like you said, why aren't there feathers just randomly lying around on the ground? Because we've got other feather gathering events in the game, where we gather either harpy feathers or griffin feathers, and we can, rummage through their nests for feathers, or just lying on the ground and pick them up, or kill them. If it was just a straight, one-shot kill, like you said, for like an ambient creature, then
but it's the fact that they added in the noise of the chicken crying out in pain, and the animation of it flying through the air. And, like, when I first kicked the chicken, I was pointed towards the rock wall. So my chicken cried out and went flying and crashed into the rock wall, and I was just like, this is I don't even, why do I have to do, like, it was upsetting to me. And I'm like, this. And I get what the devs were doing. Like, they just put it in as, like, this will be a funny tribute, to a game I like, Fable. And Fable was such it's a classic game. But like I said, the mechanic worked in Fable because you could be good or evil, and you had a choice. Do I do this action, which I find is funny and ridiculous because it's just a video game, but it's still inherently an evil action.
Yeah.
And within Guild Wars 2, it doesn't work because that's not how the gameplay works in Guild Wars. And to force me to do an action I consider evil, like, that's a fail on the gameplay mechanic within Guild Wars 2.
Yeah, and I remember talking to one of my guildies. Do you remember when Daily Ambient Creature Slayer was on the daily rotations? She had a problem with, like, really, because she's, like, a big animal lover. And she was, like, anytime Bunny Slayer Days, which is what we called it, but anytime Bunny Slayer Day was on the dailies, she was just like, no, not again. I can't do this. It's not right. Why are they putting this into the game? So I'm like, it's on this cusp of, well, it is a game. This is a virtual animal. But her argument was, but what does it convey? What message does it send to how we should even approach dealing with animals in real life. And I hadn't thought of it that way. I was just thinking, Bunny Slayer Day, I just want to get my dailies done. But it's when you stop and think about it, it's a bit, why am I doing this?
Yeah. Well, and especially when you've chosen animals that are frequently pets. I think chickens is one that most people don't go to as pet right away, but chickens actually are really good pets. Like, if you raise them properly, if you don't let them just go wild, they can be very gentle. They learn their name, so they'll come when you call them by name. And it's not like the whole flock comes, like, no, I called like, come here, Ruby, and Ruby will come to you, and all the other chickens will keep being, chickens and pecking the dirt. So I think it's a lot harder when it's an animal that it can be a pet. Like, there's no kick the kitten or kick the puppy requirement in the quest. And I think if somebody pitched that within one of the game meetings, people would be like,
horrified.
No.
Yeah.
Like, we're not putting that in the game. And yet somehow kick the chicken is okay.
Well, they even talked about how in, I think it was an Heirs Memorial story step in, I think it's episode 1 of season 3, how they had there's a random bunny that's in the instance, and originally they were thinking that you would be able to interact with the bunny and kill the bunny, and someone said, hang on a second, that's not appropriate, this is a funeral. So yeah. I mean, it's interesting to think about, and someone on my Twitter rant thread about it was like, oh my god, it's just, an effing video game, like, I can't believe this person is getting so upset about it. And we actually had, like, a nice chat, like, they weren't trying to troll me or anything, we had a nice chat about it. But yeah, I mean, it is at one point silly because it is just a video game, it's not a real chicken. Why are you getting so upset? But everybody has their things that like are core parts of them, and I'm like, apparently kicking the idea of being like animal abuse towards chickens or towards bunny, like, I'm just like, I can't do it. And the fact that the game is forcing me to do this action is making me feel like physically uncomfortable within my own body, and like the game should not be doing that. Because it's not one of those things where it's like, hey, we're trying to drive a message and we want you to feel uncomfortable to analyze and think. Like, no, it's supposed to be just like a funny little joke. And instead it's coming off and making me feel ill. Like, then something has gone wrong. So we can move on from that, because that's quite a lot of ranting about a chicken. It's all right. I'm glad that you got to get it out of your system. No, I think it's an important point as well. So I'm glad you got to share it. But the Grawl, they are worshipping Jorah. Now, I didn't see Jorah because I was like rushing around after I finished that thing. I wanted to go to the next story step, so I didn't get to see Jorah's statue or talk to any of the Grawl to see if they have any kind of insight on who they think Choco Kuka was or why. So, but you are a lore person and like to do these things. So, did you glean any insights from the Grawl?
I haven't gleaned any insight. It just seems like it was a statue of Jorah that was there, and Grawl being Grawl came in and saw it and were like, our goddess. And they've like painted some red stripes on her to decorate her and make her pretty. But it's the exact same Jorah statue we see elsewhere in the game.
Yeah.
And at times it's broken. There is an event that happens there, and the statue is completely shattered. So you could have gone in during one of those times and not realized that this pile of rocks up there is actually the statue of Jorah.
Yeah.
And the event is like you have to gather things for, I think it's a Coden, to then go be able and repair the statue. Because his thing is like, I'd much rather them worship this statue than like the Sons of Svanir. So please help me fix it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. And we had actually on Shadow Dragon, I think it might have been the last episode before, before the Chapter 3 released, had been talking about like the idea of like the Grawl worshipping a statue of Jorah. And so when I saw it in game, I was like, we were right.
Yeah.
Because it's Norn territory, and the Norn revere Jorah.
Yeah.
So it just made sense that there would be a statue of Jorah up there, and that the Grawl, being Grawl, would do their thing. So I thought that was really cool.
What I think was interesting too is that the Svanir haven't destroyed it, or haven't attempted to destroy it. Which they are the ones who are most, they dislike Jorah the most. They are the ones who don't revere her the most, because she was Svanir's sister, and she was the one who eventually had to kill him.
Oh no, not the Grawl, the Sons of Svanir.
Yeah, the Sons of Svanir. Did I say Grawl? I meant Svanir. Sorry. Yeah.
Or I heard Grawl. Either way.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Sons of Svanir hate Jorah.
Yeah.
Jorah and Svanir were brother and sister, and Drakkar was the champion of GuildMag in Guild Wars 1. And Drakkar, you can see him, he's under ice. He's in a lake. He's under ice, but he is awake, even though he's frozen, and he's able to like emanate power and like corrupts Svanir. And then corrupts Jorah slightly as well. So Jorah loses her ability to shift into bear. Yeah. And you go on a mission with Jorah to kill Svanir and kind of restore her honor. And so that's why when you look at, I forget which statue, it might be the statue in Air's home instance, where it lists like all of Jorah's names. And one of them is Kinslayer. Yeah. And I was like, oh. Yeah. So yeah, the Sons of Svanir haven't found that statue to go and destroy it. But yeah, they can't stand Jorah. That's why they can't stand women at all. Because it's sort of like biblical, like we are the source of sin and evil to them. Yeah, so
I'll be interested to see if they do anything else with that area as the season progresses. Just to see if they will have this Svanir either find out about it somehow, or I don't know, try to bring out some more Norn lore that way. Yeah. So from here we took our Firestone, we got all of our ingredients, and it's time to go and cook the elixir, and we get to this other area, which is nice and green. It's got the hot spring around it, and a lot of those horrible mushroom things from Heart of Thrones. I hate. The mushrooms are like the worst.
I actually agree with you. I found them more abhorrent than the mini raptors.
You know, the pocket raptors I could deal with, because once I figured out what kills them, I'm fine with the pocket raptors. But the mushrooms are just annoying.
Yeah. It's because they poison you and they knock you down, they knock you back, and then they like jump in the air and they explode at you. It's just
the worst. Yeah. But yeah, so we go over there, we talk to another Quaggan, and we cook our elixir, and then we're good to go. Yeah. We're good to go and fight this minion of GuildMag that's got, the rumors going. And we find out that yes, it is showing characteristics of Morgemoth and Zaitan, and this is not a good thing. But the interesting thing that that Taimi brought out was that she suspected it didn't have as much influence, since GuildMag is further away than Primordus was to Morgemoth and Zaitan. So it is still very GuildMag-y, more so than the others.
Yeah, like if you think about it like a wave, like whoever is standing closest to the point of origin is going to get hit the hardest, and then whoever's far away, like you're still going to get ripples, but like it's gentle ripples, not knock you back waves. And so Primordus has soaked up quite a lot because he's down south right near where we killed Zaitan and pretty close to Mordramoth. And Jormag is way, way up north, so he just was not as affected. So I'm interested to see, like, well, what's going on with Kralkatorrik?
Right, because like, he's over to the east. So, yeah. But we go in, we kill the thing, and there were oozes, weren't they? The mechanic was interesting that we couldn't actually damage the thing. We kind of had to, like, pull him over to the planty and deathy mechanics.
They were like the worms, like the little worms, grubs. Jungle worms, grubs, yeah. And you had to shatter the death grub or the planty grub, and that did damage to the boss, and then you could do some damage. I think it took me like 3 or 4 tries to finally figure out the system and get like a rhythm.
Yeah.
And I was on my engineer, so like I was dropping, I'd figured out a system, like I'm going to drop a turret here, we're going to fight, and then I move to the next batch of grubs, drop another turret and fight. But it took me a little bit of time. Like it challenged me. It wasn't, I couldn't get it in one try. So I learned, and that was fun.
Yeah.
So I think that was good, challenging content for me. I don't know. Maybe somebody else went through and was like, too easy.
Right.
But for me, it really forced me to analyze what was going on in the situation and get better. Yeah.
Yeah, I was finding when we finally get out of there and we go back and we report into the Kodan and the Quaggan, and we've got, all right, well, we got this information. And they're like, oh, by the way, we've had news of Bram and Rox, and they're headed this way. And we're like, well, that's not good. We should go and help them. And we send off our stuff. But when we finally get to that encounter where we meet up with Bram and Rox, I guess they did some of the dragging, making sure that you were pulling the boss into a set of enemies that would damage it. With the big Minotaur that you get to fight when we find it, you've got to basically line him up so that he charges at you through some of the enemies, and then that kind of damages him down. But I don't know. I found I felt like they taught mechanics leading up to later fights a bit better, and maybe it was just me that I was paying attention to too many different things at once since I was streaming. But yeah, I don't know. But when we do finally get to Frozen Out, which is the final story step, we get to meet angry Bram.
And he is very angry. Yeah, he's definitely moving through the stages of grief at an accelerated rate.
Yeah.
But then it's like he hit anger and he's like, no, I'm good here.
Yeah, I'm just going to stay in this rage.
Yeah, and then really, that's really what it is, and it's such a contrast from Bram before his mother's death, who is, like, relaxed and jokey and, like, everybody's friend.
Yeah.
And, like, here, he's, like, he's pissed at us, he's pissed at Rox, like, we're disrespecting him, we are disrespecting his mother,
right.
And he's not having any of it. And I was like, oh my god, like this must be how people felt about Logan back when the game originally released, because I am just so over Bram right now.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like, and I said this on stream, I felt like we should have gotten some of this raginess from him in Heart of Thorns. Like, when he came back to the group in Heart of Thorns, he was like, he was upset, but he was still going along with our orders, and he was still, even though if he was grumbling about them, he was still going through with it, and he still seemed okay. Yeah, it's almost like the anger sort of feels like it's coming out of nowhere, that he's blaming us for his mother's death, and that's really what it is. Like, it's our fault, we got her killed, and we are disrespecting her now by not continuing Destiny's Edge, by starting a new guild. Like, how dare we? Like, and Air wouldn't want us in Destiny's Edge, and it's like, we were her friend. Yeah.
Like,
yeah, you remember that? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it definitely feels like the anger at us is sort of coming out of nowhere with how severe it is. But at the same time, like, everybody deals with grief differently. So I think it is realistic in some ways. Like, they could have gone a different way and it would have been fine. This is the way they're going, and it is like, oh, this is not the Bram we knew. So that is interesting, but, you know, grief can affect you that way. You can seem fine in the minute and seem not angry at somebody, and then a little bit of time, a little bit of distance, and, like, you don't have anybody to blame.
Yeah.
Like, whose fault is this? That, you know, my mother was murdered. Who do I blame? Who can I fight? Well, what's her name? The Sylvari evil...
Kaith. No, Fallon.
No, thank you. Fallon was the one that technically murdered her, but we killed her. She's already dead. So who do you blame at that point? So he's looking for something to blame, and it's landed on the commander's shoulders.
Right.
So...
Yeah, I brought up 2 things on the stream that I'll mention here to see what your thoughts are. The first is, how much is Bram regretting that he didn't know his mother better?
Oh, a lot.
And that's what's actually fueling him. He's actually more mad at himself, and he's basically taking it out on everyone else.
Yeah, which is a real thing that you do with grief at times, you know. Yeah, because they had just started to reconnect. Yeah. And he was looking forward to getting to know her, and suddenly she's taken from him. And so, yeah, he is angry that, you know, wasted all of those years. He could have known her, and he can never get that back. Right. So, yeah.
And the second thing was, he has been, from what he tells the Pact Commander, he has been up in that area, the Bitterfrost, what is our map name? Bitterfrost Frontier. Yeah, there we go. He's been up there for a while trying to find this scroll. And part of me was saying, you know, he's so ragey. Is he being influenced at all by either the Svanir or GuildMag, or is something going on because he's tapped into that, you know, really strong anger side? Could he be... Is he being affected somehow?
You know, I didn't even think of that, but I think that could be. I think that would be really cool if that's what they're doing, is that he is that affected by GuildMag, and that would explain some of the excess anger. Like, and the fact that it is... I mean, he's borderline berserker rage.
Yeah.
I mean, you just need the right or wrong thing to push him over, and he is lost.
Yeah.
As Bram, and, like, trying to predict, like, well, where is this going to take us? Like, I see, like, he's going to meet up with Timey, and Timey is still Timey, and she looks up to Bram and you know, and loves him, and he, you know, is sort of like a
brother, an older brother,
brother, you know, foster family. Since she lost hers, and he's going to lash out, and he's going to hurt Timey. And I think that might be the thing that starts to call him back to us, is that realization of he's hurt Timey, because this is... I mean, Timey's so cute and so tiny, and she's, like, what, 16? But, like, she looks like a tiny child.
Yeah.
And especially for a big Norn, and then you have this tiny Asura, and just to be like, he doesn't have to physically hurt her, but you'll have that feeling of, like, my words were as harsh as if I had slapped her.
Yeah, and he even did... We saw some of him even lashing out at Timey, even though she wasn't there in this episode, in this step. So it's like, whoa. Yeah, I know that caught my attention as soon as he did that. That it's like, whoa, you're even ticked off at her?
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
I mean...
This is what is going on with this guy.
Yeah, and you saw him lashing out at Rox, and Rox is sort of like...
And Rox has always been there with him.
Yeah, he's like, you know, they're pals. I mean, they might as well have that, you know, blood bond.
Right, exactly.
That, you know, Rox is like, this is... You know, you are my family. You are, you know, I don't have a... I can't think of any of the words right now, but I have to. You are my warband, and you are in pain, and I don't know what to do. And so she's torn between, like, well, Commander, I want to help you, but rocks. And so we as the commander are like, go, you know, you need to be with him. He needs you. And I see him trying to push rocks away. And I see him, like I said, I see him lashing out at Taimi in person, and Taimi being very hurt, you know, crushed by that. And I think that's the thing that may call him back. Of like him feeling, like seeing how his anger is affecting others. Who are innocent, because Taimi is innocent. More so than I think any of the other characters. I mean, she's a genius, yes, but she definitely has that like her soul is still innocent, and she's seen violence, and she's seen how bad the dragons can make things, but there is still the spark of purity within her, and for him to kind of crush some of that light with his anger and his words, I think that's gonna bounce back on him, and he's gonna be like, no, wait, Taimi, and she's gonna be like, I don't want to talk with you anymore.
Right. It'll be interesting to see where they take it. I mean, if they do that, I think it'd be incredibly powerful storytelling that ArenaNet could do there. I had another thought and I just lost it. Oh man, I hate when that happens. But anyway, Bram. I was surprised when he, you know, whistled up Garm and they just took off, and I was like, whoa. Even Garm is like, Garm, are you leaving? Are you mad at us too?
Yeah. Well, I don't think that was it. I think Garm is lost without air, but like looks at Bram and goes like, well, you know, you're
her son.
You're her son, so you are my pack now.
Yeah.
So I have to follow you. And like, I'm sure Garm senses that Bram, like animals can sense like when you're angry or scared. So I'm sure Garm is a little nervous. Like, you've got all this anger radiating off you, but you are still my pack leader, so I have to go with you. Yeah. So poor Garm.
Yeah, and so we go through with Bram. He's raging at us, even though we help him out. And he gets the scroll because we kill the Minotaur dude thing, boss. And he goes, and the closing cutscene for the episode is Bram shooting an arrow and cracking the tooth of Jormag that is in Holbrook. Yeah. So that's our cliffhanger.
I thought that was a cool ending, and you can, after you finish the chapter, you can go to Holbrook, and the arrow is there.
I haven't checked that out yet. Oh, awesome.
Oh, yeah. The arrow is there, and this isn't like crack, like half the tooth fell off, or like there's this big thing. Like, it's just the arrow hit the tooth, and it's stuck in there, and there's little radiating cracks, like spiderweb cracks coming out of it. And it's a big deal, because like nobody has been able to damage this tooth with any weapon. So that's a big deal. But like the commander was saying to him, like, you can't go off and do this alone. Like, even if you crack the tooth, like, that's just Jormag's tooth.
Exactly.
Like, that could be one of his smaller teeth for all we know.
For all we know.
And he, like I said, he didn't shatter it. He just stuck an arrow in it. So, like, you gave Jormag a cavity. Congratulations.
Yeah. I'm interested to see where they take it. I would love to see Bram get that, you know, get the mantle of, you know, everyone's expectations put on him, because he's done this. But it'll be interesting to see how they bring out how the Norn respond to him. As a result, because this is the thing that they've all been praying for.
Yeah, I think the Norn are going to be very excited by it, because at last somebody has damaged the tooth, and it's Air's son. You know, like oh my God, he has his legacy behind him of like his mother was a great warrior, and now he's going to be a great warrior, and he's going to, you know, he's the chosen one coming to defeat Jormag. And they are probably not necessarily going to see that anger, and to a degree, like, you know, anger and talking loud is part of Norn culture. Like, they are loud and brash, so they might not see it as bad as a human would, or as bad as an Asura, or especially Sylvari would. Char would probably the closest where they'd be like, okay, he's really loud and really angry, but as long like if the anger is what it takes to get the job done, then that's fine.
Yeah.
But Rox, who knows Bram and knows that this isn't him, like Rox is like what's going on here? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm happy that he cracked the tooth. I'm probably still a little salty that we didn't get to punch him in the face, because that's what I was kept saying in the stream. I'm like, can we just punch him now? Can we just slap him? Just something to kind of like shake him out of his anger here.
Yeah. It's the only thing I can see that's going to shake him out of his anger is another tragedy or like near tragedy. Like he's gonna, like I said, he's gonna hurt Taimi verbally. He's gonna push her away, and she's gonna get hurt. Or he's gonna try. Yeah, he's gonna try to lead the fight to GuildMag and cause like everybody that he's fighting with to get killed, and he alone escapes. And then he, like, again, you have to face like
the guilt that he'll then have to deal with.
Yeah. Like it's gonna be something equally as big to shake you out of, like, okay, your mother was murdered before your eyes, like, and you've got all that anger. Yeah, it's gotta be something big to shake him up.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like our guild is off to a really great start here, because Marjorie went off and was like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do.
Oh, that's another one that's got like anger issues.
Yeah, and she just like went, peace, I'm leaving with Lazarus here. So and we still haven't seen Casimir.
We don't know what's going on with her.
No, so we'll probably, I'm thinking that we'll probably find out about her next episode, since we got one in each one, basically. Yeah.
Well, and I would guess that the next episode is probably going to circle back to Codicus, which would make sense to bring Casimir back, because then we're going to circle back to what's going on in Divinity's Reach with the Queen. Like, they're probably all on high alert because we haven't caught Codicus.
Right.
So I would expect that we would see Queen Jenna, Casimir, Anise,
Logan, who we haven't heard from.
Yeah, I would hope that we would see Logan.
Yeah. And we also have, Ritlock is off under arrest.
Yeah.
So
I think
our guild is off to a great start.
I definitely see the next chapter dealing again with Codicus, and what's going on with Ritlock. This is interesting. Everything's all a mess right now.
It is.
So
it is. I was thinking that we would be kind of starting off season 3 with some kind of like things that would pull the group together and to keep forward. But it seems like everything is just splintered off, and so here's the commander going, what do I do now? My guildies are gone, so
And you know what? I think that's good. Like, maybe season 3 is supposed to be everybody is angry and splitting off and like coming together at the end, right before the next expansion pack.
Yeah.
And then whatever the next expansion pack is, that's where we've come together as the group again.
Yeah.
And we've healed and we're ready to take on the next challenge.
And it would kind of parallel what happened through Edge of Destiny, right? The novel, and then the personal story, where a big part of the personal story and the story mode of the dungeons was trying to get Destiny's Edge back together again.
Yeah.
So, and who is this in chat? This is the FH man. Yeah, no, our chat's been really quiet today. We usually have a more active chat. So, guys, I don't know what you're doing. You guys are just listening along, which is great.
They're all in the food coma from all the turkey.
I guess that's what it is. It's the turkey coma.
Yeah.
Tryptophan comas are on display. Yeah. So that was the story itself. Any other thoughts on the map, the new map that we got, Bitterfrost Frontier? When we talked about the torches and the chests.
I kind of just wish there was a quicker way to get to the top of the Quaggan Sanctuary than run up and then like zigzag and then zigzag and then zigzag and then run around. Like, I wish there was a gust of wind that a rock outcropping that I could just climb on top of the rocks and then jump into a gust of wind and just shoot me all the way to the top. because it was just annoying to like constantly having to be adjusting my camera. Like I've zigzagged this way, now I'm going the other way,
Yeah.
and now I've got to flip the camera back around the other way because I'm running the opposite direction. So that was just like I'm like a minor grievance of like I'm annoyed by the fact that I have to readjust my camera 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
So.
But it is a pretty zone. It's very snowy. I like that we got a couple of different environments.
The tall trees were really cool.
The tall trees, yeah.
Yeah, those are cool. The Quaggan Sanctuary. Underneath the Quaggan Sanctuary. Yeah, that one was really pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a cool little new map. It's probably about as big as Verdant Brink. It doesn't feel as vertical. There are certain elements that create some verticality to it, but it's a nice little addition.
But overall, it's fairly even. Like the trees are the only area where you can go up, and it's not like there's events or stuff happening up there. You just go up there and you can collect some magic.
Yeah, and mastery points. There's a mastery point up there.
Yeah. There's a vista. I believe. Yeah, but that's about it. Otherwise, they're just tall to kind of be tall.
Yeah, and then the hot spring area, there's a jumping puzzle in there. Which I, of course, didn't get because I'm a terrible jumper. And so I was like, I'm not going to subject everyone to, falls.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of cool, though, the way they did it, where it was, it's like bridges, but they're like super old bridges so that they're kind of falling apart, and so you can like jump from one wood plank to the next to get all the way across, and then there's... So I thought it was interesting. I tried like a small part of it and then gave up.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I started in the right area. I think I found like a weird part of it that somehow I was able to access.
Yeah. I haven't finished it. I kept missing one jump on the wooden planky bridge that has big gaps. I'm terrible. But Codera Demonstrandum says he's pretty disappointed in the Coda Flame Mastery, though. Yeah, I didn't really get what benefit we had from that mastery.
Well, isn't that with the torches? Like, you get that mastery and then you can use the torch skills?
Oh, that might be how you unlock the torch skills? I know that I don't think I know that I was picking up the torches before I had the mastery unlocked.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if I picked up a torch after.
But you don't have this. But you don't have the skills. I think you have to. And that maybe I'm completely wrong, but I thought it was you can pick up the torch, but you don't have any of the skills. You have to unlock the mastery and then go talk to people to get the skills.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to have to play around with that one a bit more. Astrolaria says that she hated the fact that we have gated parts of the map. Yeah, I mean we've got some that are gated behind completing events or different steps.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can let's see. Quote Era Demonstratum again says you can use the torch skills, but you lose 1 stack each time you use a skill. Yeah, I noticed that we would lose one of the skills as soon as we would open up a chest too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're constantly having to like run back and get a new torch.
The like I said at the start of the podcast, the whole torch system I'm just not a fan of. It wasn't a fun mechanic to me.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm missing it. Like maybe I'm just not doing it right. Like if somebody knows the proper way to do it, let me know. But yeah, I'm so tired of, oh look, all the chests are out. Let me go get a torch. Oh no, I'm getting attacked. I have to drop the torch, pick up the torch. Can't find the torch. Somebody else's torch.
Right.
All the torches are gone.
All the torches, yeah. And there is a berry sink in this one now as well. And more ascended pieces. I mean, I'm happy to see that we can get ascended pieces in other ways throughout the game, because we have the ascended pieces that you can get from laurels, and then you've got the ones that are locked behind magnetite shards from the raid if you want to get those. So more ways to get ascended pieces. I know that in season 2 they gated some behind completing the meta for the mastery points in there as well. So that was a bit sad.
too many types of currency that they're adding. Like every map gets its own new type of currency.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
yeah,
it just seems like quite a lot. Like it.
I was happy to see that Unbound Magic has a place still, but I mean,
yeah. I just have trouble keeping track of all the different types of currency and what do I need to buy what. I like that, like where it's the bloodstones and then the berries and God, it was one more thing where they all break down into Unbound Magic. So then they all break down into one uniform type of currency.
Mm-hmm.
So if it was everything like, oh, you could just buy it all now with Unbound Magic, and you just go to whatever map and you gather the thing and break it down into the one unified currency. So it seems like they're doing a little bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the FH man says you need berries to get a cold potion every day. Yeah.
You have to get a cold potion
every day.
To just like get around the map.
Fight the new ice brood. Yeah, I'm gonna keep playing around the super cold one. I hate the elixir thing, is what Astrolaria says. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just need the potion. Yeah, I'm looking forward to, now that Thanksgiving is over, being able to kind of explore the zone a bit more. So now that I've done the story the story chapter, just because it's I feel like I want to get to know that map a bit better. I know that I did that with Bloodstone Fen and Ember Bay. So one thing that I found was that the steps in between, like, the little gather things events, where we're talking about the winter berries or whatever, it felt like it progressed a little bit more slowly than, like, I felt like the pacing was off. I felt like the pacing was slower than what it had been to gather the things that we needed in the steps in Rising Flames from the Ember Bay events.
Yeah, it definitely was. It took longer.
Yeah.
And maybe that was, for me, maybe it was because I was constantly having to fight because there's so many enemy NPCs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Something to think about.
Yeah. I know that the winter berries are also soulbound. They're not account bound, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
I can see why they would have kept it account bound for the story steps, but once that character has completed the story step, why keep them soulbound? I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe that's something that has to change.
Yeah.
And if enough people raise it as an issue, then it will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. I think this map is definitely another one of those maps that people either love it or they
don't
hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, or they don't. And hate it might be strong. It's either you love it or you don't.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of in the I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's just not my favorite map. And the chapter overall was not my favorite of season 3 so far.
Yeah.
And like I said before, I don't.
Yeah, especially since the first 2 were so good. They were consistently good. Each of the steps were meaningful. They felt more meaningful.
Yeah, the steps were good. The story was really good. The maps I liked. And then this one, something just.
I liked the first one where we got to like play around with Aurene, and then when we got the last one where we got Ragey Bram, those were good. And the voice acting, my gosh, the voice acting, the voice actor for Bram, he did a tremendous job.
Yes, the main character voice actors were great, but I was noticing some of the NPCs, like the Quaggan and the Coden, like something seemed very stiff about their voice actors, where I was like, this is awkward. And I don't know what was going on, but if it was that they're going for a different sound, or maybe they didn't like. Yeah. They just, like, the Quaggan didn't sound like it sounded like a human. It didn't sound like a Quaggan. And then the Coden also sounded kind of like a human or a Norn, and didn't sound.
Yeah, I recognized some of the voice actors from the main characters were being used to voice the Quaggan and the Coden.
Timey, I noticed.
Yeah, and I noticed, I think, Rox as well at one point. Rox's voice actor. So, yeah. I don't know, but But Bram's voice actor truly impactful performance. I mean, I was responding viscerally to Bram's rants, and I just wanted to punch him in the face.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, he did that sort of anger grief very well.
Very, very well.
Yeah. Very believable. And I think that's part of what made it so uncomfortable was like, this feels like a real person who is dealing with these emotions versus like, oh, it's just a voice actor and they're stiff.
Yeah.
Like, no, the voice actor was on it. So congrats to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that feels like a good place to end our today's show. We went a little over today by about a half an hour. So sorry about that, guys. Our show is usually about an hour long.
It's my fault. I make everything go long.
No, it's fine. You're fine. It was good. I thought we had good conversation and good insights. Oh, yeah. So thanks to everyone who turned up to watch and listen. I know that like we said, it's post Thanksgiving coma, and online shopping for Black Friday kept you guys listening. So that's cool and nice to see you guys chime in our chat with your ideas at the end here. Absolutely. Yep. So we will be back next week at our regular time, Thursday, 2 p.m. Pacific and 10 p.m. GMT. I think we're going to be talking about the new Fractal. We'll probably get Valiant's reactions to the story since he's ill and he wasn't able to join us today. So we'll see you guys next week right here at twitch.tv/GuildMag. And thank you guys again for coming out. And thank you, Kora, for joining us today again.
Absolutely. It was a ton of fun. Sorry that my voice is a little off because of my cough, but I was glad to be here, and thanks for inviting me.
No, absolutely. It's a good time to have you. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.